This is it. It is the first official Marvel Monday, and I have officially seen Iron Man. Yes, I watched it last week for the first time, and now it's time to art journal about it. So basically how these videos will go is I'm watching a Marvel movie every week, and then I art journal about it, and in the video you'll see my process of making the pages. I'll talk about what I thought about the movie, and also, we'll talk a little bit about the art journal process as well. A bunch of the stuff I'm using will be linked below in the description. If you have any additional questions, feel free to leave a comment and let me know. All the pictures that I'm using from the movie and things like that all just came from Google Images, just simple searches. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. So for this movie specifically, I did 3 pages of me just like rambling because I just had a lot to say, I feel like. And then 1 page is like an art page. It's like just a collage art piece, and I'm really excited about it. I'm excited for you to see it. I think it turned out really cool. So yeah, so let's get into it. I gotta tell you, I was nervous that I wasn't gonna like this movie. Like, I was nervous that I was gonna go into this big project and kick it off not enjoying this film. And I was like, man, that's gonna suck. But yeah, I mean, I loved it. It was really good. Like, it was a really good movie. I'm so irritated with myself that it took me this long to finally watch it. And I have like a lot of really good things to say about it. There are some things that I didn't like, and I'll talk about that too, of course. But as a whole, and as an introduction to the character of Tony Stark and Iron Man, it was just really cool. And what I was most impressed with about it is that it's like super deep, because I think what I've seen of Tony Stark so far, because I have seen a few things. If you watched the intro video, I talked a little bit about what I have seen and things like that. But like, so I thought that I knew him. I thought I knew this character, and I just didn't at all. Of course, when I'm talking about Marvel, pardon me, when I'm talking about Marvel, I am only talking about the movies. I'm not getting into comics right now. I'm open to it in the future, but I'm just kind of starting slow, so keep that in mind. And also, I don't know if this goes without saying, but spoiler alert, I will talk about details of the movie and plot points and things that if you haven't seen it, you might not want to know. So yeah. But I think that I thought I knew who Tony Stark was. I thought I knew his story, and I just absolutely didn't. And I think that seeing the way that he changed and went from being this like billionaire kind of like unintentional warlord to what happens to him and those like super traumatic experiences and how that changes him as a person was like so fascinating to me. And it really added a lot to my like feelings about Tony Stark and Iron Man. And like, I'm just really excited to watch everything over again that I have seen, and to see all this other stuff with all of this knowledge in mind. I'm just like really excited. Like, it was a movie that like made me feel super excited. Yeah, like, it's just cool. It was really good. Okay, so let's get into it. So, basically, yeah, like one of the main things I wrote down in like my notes, because I took notes, obviously. And one of the things I wrote down was like the effects of trauma and like PTSD. Like, I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but like, I don't know. I think I related, like, not to get too deep, but like, I think I related to that a lot in him, and like how a traumatic experience can really change who you are and how you look at life. And that was just really cool to me. And to see when he comes back from being captured and all that stuff, and has that press conference and is like, you know, I never got to say goodbye to my father. I was like, whoa, wow. Like, that just really blew my mind. I obviously think Robert Downey Jr. did an incredible job. It's one of those casting things where it's like, could anyone else really have done this? Like, maybe, but it's one of those like actor character like partnerships, if you will, like that it's just like it's creepily perfect, you know? Like I think that he is so obviously so funny. He's obviously so charismatic as a person and an actor, and takes that on from Tony so much, but also he's so capable of being vulnerable, and that really moved me in this movie. Like everything with Yinsen, and when they're captured and trying to, you know, figure out a way to get out of there and everything, like, and then when obviously Yinsen died, was like, I knew Yinsen was going to die right away, because I was like, okay, this guy's really nice and we like him a lot, so like there's no way he's going to live. It's just like that kind of character. But like when he passes away and he says to him, like, don't waste it, don't waste your life, like that gave me such chills. And I was like, wait a minute, what is this Marvel movie doing to me right now? And it set such a tone for this whole project that I'm doing. I was like, wow, I'm really impressed. So that was really cool. I will say that like the opening flashback kind of like mixed me up for a minute, because like they obviously show him in the tank with the soldiers, and they want to take selfies, and he's being really funny, and then they're attacked, and then it flashes back, and I think I must have missed where it said like 36 hours before or something like that. So I was like, okay, I know that this is backwards in time, but it just kind of threw me off. And it's funny because I did end up watching The Incredible Hulk, and you'll see those pages next week. But there was a really, like, that whole montage intro, I didn't really enjoy either. So it was just interesting that both of these movies, the kind of like intro, threw me off a little bit. But anyway, and it was like super intense, that whole period of time of him being in captivity and everything. Like that was like super like it was like super suspenseful, even though obviously you know he's gonna get out and become Iron Man. It still felt it felt super suspenseful, you know. So so what else as far as the not as good parts? I mean, okay, so like this is just my personal opinion. I don't know what else to say as far as that goes. This is just how I feel. But like, I do think that the depiction of like Middle Eastern people and communities, it's just super like, it just feels really lazy. It feels really dated. And it is dated. I mean, this movie is 13 years old. So like, I get that. It definitely like, it's like one of those things where I'm like, this is just not super fun to watch. So that was kind of like probably my main like critique of the movie. And I think that that's pretty fair. That, and then again, like I said, the flashback and the intro just kind of threw me. But as soon as I got what was going on, I was back on board. And also, this is something that I'm finding from both this and The Incredible Hulk, which I saw, which was like, when they have those really, really, really big battles at the end where it's like super heavy CG and, which is, you know, fair, but like, it's not that I think they're bad. I just kind of check out, you know what I mean? Like, I just kind of like almost like fade and like stop paying attention. So like when Obadiah Slate was in his own funky Iron Man suit, and then Tony was in the Iron Man suit, and they were like doing the battle, I just kind of was like, yeah, I mean, I know that he's gonna win. So I was like, I just don't really care. But I mean, it is also worth saying that like they obviously did a lot of amazing things with this film as far as effects go, and that's something that Marvel's super known for. I read some behind the scenes stuff as well. And I did really like the fact that they improv'd a lot of the dialogue, or they would like try different improv dialogue and stuff, because it said that they were working so hard on like the CGI and action aspects that sometimes they just like wouldn't have script pages. And of course, I'm sure that Robert Downey Jr. was like great at that. And so that's kind of cool. And that was cool to read. So yeah, I mean, those were the main like critiques that I had. And again, they're not really like, I get it, I guess, is the only thing I can say. But Yeah. So here we go. So this second page I wrote off camera, but this is just like a final look at these first 2 pages. I wrote about my favorite parts, not so favorite parts. I did think Jeff Bridges was an incredible villain, but I also just think that Jeff Bridges is generally incredible. So this third page, which you're about to see, I also like wrote it all off camera, and then I'm just putting it together here. But I did know going into it that Tony and Pepper Potts, Gwyneth Paltrow's character, ended up together, because I think it's in one of the Spider-Man movies. So I didn't know that going into it, but I really liked seeing their relationship blossom. I think they had pretty good chemistry, and I just really like their like back and forths and stuff. It was all very cute. And I did not know that Terrence Howard was in this movie, and then I did not know that he was later replaced. I read that it was because of a like money salary type thing, which is, you know, that happens all the time in Hollywood stuff. But I thought he was great in this movie, Terrence Howard. I thought that he took over that role of like being the kind of like straight man to Tony's wildness in the beginning. Was really funny. I relate to that a lot, because I feel like I would be a lot more like him than like Tony, but then also Tony would convince me to get drunk on the plane too, you know what I mean? So that was cool, and I do know that he's replaced by Don Cheadle, and I'm a huge fan of Don Cheadle's work, so excited to see what happens with that. As far as, I'm also writing for every movie on the pages, I write the Stan Lee cameo, which I think that's so sweet. I know after a while it was like super obvious, but like I love it, and I think it's so great that we have that, especially now that he's, you know, sadly not around anymore. I think it's just a really cool thing. So in this movie, the Stan Lee cameo was on the red carpet when Tony's going into the party. He mistakes him for Hugh Hefner, which was really funny. And then the post-credits scene, which I really want to look into like post-credits scene history and see if this is like the first notable post-credits scene of all time. I have to do some research there, but it was the introduction of Nick Fury, who I did know from what I've seen so far, and he is telling Tony about the Avengers Initiative. So that was pretty interesting. Okay, so here's a final look at this page. Just kind of simple, but I used a white gel pen on the bottom there. Oh, okay, so here is the collage art page that I am very excited about. I was so inspired by the memento that Pepper gives to Tony of the heart that he doesn't need anymore, and then eventually he does need it. I thought that was just like so beautiful. So I knew right away as soon as I saw it in the case that I wanted to make a collage version of it. So I did make the collage off screen, but it's basically just some like colorful pieces. There's some like wires and technology looking stuff in there. And then I printed a picture of the arc reactor, and I tried to make sure it was the same one that he had in the case and not his later one. I think I did, but apologies if I didn't. And then I added the words saying proof that Tony Stark has a heart. I thought that was just so cool. So that's this final page of the 4 pages. And as far as, is there anything else to talk about? I don't know. On the day I'm recording this, I'm about to watch Iron Man 2 today, and I'm so excited. I honestly am really excited. Like, I wanted to watch it immediately, but I held off. So that'll be what's next. And then after that, I think it's Thor, which I've also never seen. So that's really exciting. So, we're on this journey. And I'm excited about it. I'm really happy that I decided to do this. And I hope that you're enjoying whatever this goofiness is. As far as some little art journal details, the pens that I have been using, the markers, like the black ones, it's almost always the Papermate Flare markers. They're my favorite. I did also use a dual brush pen, I think, on some of this. And there is a white gel pen on the bottom of the last page. Here's a final flip through. So these are the 4 pages for Iron Man. This is actually in slow-mo. So, but yeah, so I hope that you enjoyed watching this come together. I will be back next week in a big way. And I hope that you will be here too. And slow-mo, gonna wave goodbye to you now. Goodbye. Subscribe for more. And I'll see you next Marvel Monday. Thank you. Bye.